and everything, I am going to work on starting the long arm kit on the Jeep. So to remove these arms, we're going to take out these bolts. So this is a 21 mil. I don't have a 21 mil wrench. So I'm gonna use a 13/16, and it might work.
Gotta let it down a little bit. It's like very scary.
So, take those off.
Oh, toe. Okay, so 17.
I think. Okay, so I was able to get the springs out, which means that I could lift the axle very high. So now I have full access to get to this bolt, so I can hopefully use the impact wrench on that and then take the nut off and get the bolt out. So let's give it a go. So I didn't quite film it, but this ride was unbelievably tight. So I think this bolt is actually somewhat rusted on, or was, but it's off now and it's still smooth, so that's good. So once you get the bolts out, the arm will come right out of this mount, and then you can also take the shock out. And then the axle is somewhat removed from the vehicle, and that is ultra convenient actually. So yeah, now we have to just cut those off on both sides. Shouldn't be too bad, I think. The instructions said to use a reciprocating saw. I guess that's the best way to do it, so we'll see. I think they want us to cut along here, not just cut the weld. So time to get that. So sit rep. Thomas's gas tank strap bolt has failed, so he's currently drilling that out. The Jeep, I got the arms off, so that's cool. I need to figure out what the next step is. Alex has installed the transmission onto the engine with the adapter plate. So, engine, adapter plate, transmission. This allows the Miata transmission to hook up to the K24, and there are clutches and pressure plates and flywheels on the inside, so everything's lined up fine, and the trans is locked in gear. And now he is measuring, because he has to use a hole saw on the trans to cut out this area right here. Very difficult to see. This area right here, so the starter can fit through and engage on the flywheel, which you can see right here. Maybe. Right there. So he needs a 2-inch hole saw to do that, and that is going to be quite a bummer to watch, but I'm sure he can do it. Nice. All right, all right, all right. So here we are, and I have cut this flange off, and so I'm gonna go do the other side, and let me tell you, it is absolutely awful. I have to clean it up still, but it is just the worst experience of my life. So I took the lower arm off, and now I'm about to take the upper arm off, both the body side, that's this guy right here, both the body side and the axle side, and let the axle rest. But I have to be careful because there is still the drive shaft that is connected. That's not hard, but it's annoying. Thomas broke the other bolt that holds the fuel tank strap in over here, and this one goes into a blind area, so he can't really just drill it out. So he's going to re-tap it, re-thread that, and then use a nut.
Maybe. I can't get the tap on right now, so that's being fun.
Why is that?
Oh, look at the threads.
Oh, that's fine. There's plenty. And then Alex, I have never seen anything like this before, but this is what K Miata specifies. Alex is taking a hole saw to the transmission bell housing case, such that
The starter can go in.
the starter will go in and not hit. And I bet it sucks to do that. So, how does it feel?
It sucks. Big time.
I was right. What do I win? Nothing. Excellent. So I'm going to go back to working on the Jeep. Yeah. Hey, stupid question. Were you supposed to go down like this the entire time instead of in that way? Because, I mean, if you're just going to go in like that, why couldn't you just use a reciprocating saw? Yes. Okay, so good news. I have the axle. All of the arms are disconnected from the axle. I have to get that upper control arm out of the body, but I'll do that soon. So what's next is cutting this mount off, so then I can take this lower arm off and then hook up the long arm correctly, the radius arm. Honestly, this is a lot worse than I thought it was gonna be. But so now I have to cut off that bracket on this side like what I did on that side, and it'll be annoying, but that's fine, whatever. All right, so currently I have all of the arms on the Jeep, and it is sitting on its own. I don't know that it is aligned correctly, but that's okay. I'll probably bring it to a shop to have them align it, because that's a lot better than me doing it. Thomas currently has the gas tank in, and he's installing that, which is cool, and he'll put the straps on soon. Alex's Miata is now cambered on a corner. But so Alex is about to start painting. He's able to get the entire transmission onto the engine, and all of that stuff is good. So now his goal, as I kick the glasses in, is to paint this entire area. This is the spot that was welded and touched up, so he's going to paint all of that, and that will look very good. And Adam over here is grinding some rivets to get a throttle position sensor off for Alex.
I think I have just gotten it.
So this is a B18, I lied, this is a B20 throttle body out of a CRV, and Adam
Hello.
was grinding this to get the sensor off.
I've only been working on this for like 45 minutes.
He's only been working on this for like
You
45
have
minutes.
Awesome timing. Here it is.
Hey Adam,
What?
I have a pick over here. Not you.
What?
Do you need this pick?
For this?
Yeah.
No, I just got it.
Yeah.
Improved product.
No?
Correct. In the house. Okay, so now the next step is to remove the upper part of the track bar so I can put the track bar drop mount on. Oh, those look crusty. Well, we'll see if that mount comes off. I hope it does. So instead of dealing with a ball joint, since I have to take this track bar bracket off anyway, I'm just going to take the entire bracket off and then that will bring the track bar with it. It should be a lot easier, so that way I won't have to deal with any of the inside the ball joint or using a box wrench badly. So I'm hopeful. The second one's a little harder to get to because of the bump stop mount. So we'll just use this extension here. You know, all impact rated. Well, it was violent, but it worked. So the two 18s. And then there should be 2 bolts under here as well. So I'll go get those now. Lack of ability on a weed whacker is making me so upset. Basically. So the new track bar bracket is a lot easier to use. Basically, it has the same body shape as the old one over here, so the way it mounts is the same. But instead of using a ball joint, it uses a rotating pin style joint. So no more will I have to worry about that ball joint coming loose or tightening that or using a cotter pin. So that's a lot nicer. So now I'm going to put this guy on, and it installs exactly opposite of how we took the other one off. So this thing goes up, gets hung on these 2 studs. Now these studs are actually welded together to a plate inside the engine bay. So if I were smart, I would pop the hood and push those out. Excellent. So now I'll put both nuts on, loosely of course, and then put the 2 bolts on to make sure that everything gets aligned properly. So the 2 bolts go on underneath. Now everything gets tightened down. Run it down with the impact. Okay, so those two are in. And now to do the side ones. There we go, and the new track bar mount is on. Now I just have to throw the track bar on and almost the front suspension is done. Springs, of course, and stuff like that, but that's not too hard. So the new tie rod installs pretty easily. It's the same thing, except now it's a pin joint, which is very nice. I much prefer the pin joint. And there are two different size bolts, so obviously the bigger bolt comes up here. And I am going to put the bolt head sticking through. Basically, the bolt head is at the back of the Jeep, so as the axle goes up, there's no chance of it hitting. You have to grab the other washer that I have lost. Not that one. This one. Not this one. Actually, I think it's just a flange nut that I'm doing great here. Yep, so this just gets tightened down. So that bushing will work. And then on the other end, you just use the supplied hardware. Now,
Funny. Helper.
Instead of Alper, they should call you Helper.
Ah! So there's this thing called a socket. A quarter of the way there, Johnny.
well, I used to. When I look at the old ones, I lost them.
And there's not slice here. And then tease off on the axle side. You shouldn't have thrown the park brake. It has enough slot. I don't care about it.
I'll say.
I know.
Actually, the look might make my park brake better.
Sorry. That help at all, even momentarily? No. I think I needed that from underneath. I didn't get it. Just destroy my wrist.
So it's later at night, and Adam
Hello.
and Alex
No.
are installing the engine into the Miata. This is the first time a K24 ever in the history of the world has been placed into an NB Miata.
Shut up.
I'm told to shut the hell up because this is such a monumentous moment. Just a monumentous moment.
So just needs to go forward.
I just said the same thing.
man's just sitting on the-
So actually, we have quite a number of updates. So the Jeep, I brought inside the shop, and I'm working on getting the rear leaf springs out. Now, it's kind of a pain. I was able to get the rear axle out and the rear shocks out, and that wasn't so bad, but the real problem was getting this leaf spring out. It's not here, obviously, because I got it out, but Basically over here, there is a weld nut inside the frame that failed. So I had to cut the bottom section of this frame out to get access to it so I could hold the nut and everything. And so I'll be able to put a new nut in there. And I'm not going to use a weld nut, I'll just use a regular one. But also, the bolt seized into the bushing over here. So whenever I would turn the bolt, it would spin this bushing inside the rubber bushing. So I wasn't able to remove it. Now, that really is a pain because I had to cut both sides of the bolt so I could get the spring out, which in the end, not that big of a deal. On this one, this is the other side, and the bolt just came right out of the spring. So pretty soon the rear will go on and I'll put the extended rear brake lines on, and that should be excellent for the Jeep. Of course I have to touch up a couple of things in the front, but that's not a big deal. And then Alex over here, they tried to get the engine in, but they found that the engine was hitting on the ports for the power steering rack. So the plan, what they did was they took off the power steering rack and they are removing the fittings now, and Alex is completely depowering the rack. So he'll fill it with grease, and then it will be a complete manual rack at hydraulic rack speeds, which is neat. So here's the engine out of the Miata. Again, it was in for a little bit, but the oil pan was hitting on the surface. Actually, there's a little mark down there, but we're about to run to the bolt store to go get some things. Here's the Miata engine. What are you looking for?
German.
Over here. You need to cut or grind?
Cut.
Hmm.
What do you have on there?
The cutting wheel, but it snapped.
Oh my god.
Here you go. I am thirsty. So, hello. Today's stupid decision is to go get tires and wheels for the Jeep. I found somebody selling some Super Swampers in the 33 or 34 size, so I'm gonna go try those out. He wants to trade for a smaller size, so I'm going to hopefully trade him my Jeep wheels for regular steel Jeep wheels and then Super Swampers and see what happens. Was my favorite XJ color.
It's literally called Blurple.
No, I forget, I don't know what it's called, but like it is Blurple in effect. Look at how high it sits. Holy cow.
You're having a hard on, aren't you?
I am. Wanna suck?
Control yourself.
I can't.
The only way to satisfy yourself is for... Ooh, you doing...
So we're back in the shop, and I have been working a lot on trying to get this Jeep ready. Basically, Car Club Car Show at Virginia Tech is in 2 weeks. I guess it's actually less now. So I have 1 week to finish this entire Jeep up, get it roadworthy and driving and drivable, and fix the windows, and basically bring it down to car show because we have plans to go off-roading. So as it stands right now, here it is. I was able to finish the main parts of the lift, so the springs and stuff like that. I have to look at the alignment, of course, and I want to adjust one of the front lower arms, so I put the grease zerk upside down. But the tires are on. I'll need to trim the fenders quite a bit, probably to like this point, right along here, the outer edge of this thing. And then, which is a shame, you know, because they do look kind of good. Let's see, but the tires are on. It's nice and high. I need to empty it out, and I need to fix the windows and stuff. But for now, I skipped a couple of spots on the lift. So on the cross member, I didn't drill the holes to put the additional support beams in, so I need to go do that now. I'm debating putting the transfer case skid on. I might do that later. And then I have to put the new pitman arm on, and then center the axle, put the front sway bar on, and redo the front brake lines, and then bleed the brakes. So I'm hoping that I can get a decent chunk of that done today. I have the pitman arm toolkit over here, which I'll show you how to use. I have the front U-joint service kit because I broke it. I'll explain that one later on. And then I have to retorque all of the mounts and everything. So hopefully I can get this done. I think today I'm going to start with doing the cross member holes. I have been trying to avoid that, but it's time. But all it is, just drilling holes in here and then hammering a washer in, or a standoff thing that goes in the frame. It's a crush sleeve, and I'll try to get that done. Then I'll have to replace that U-joint in the front, but luckily I can do that in the pit, and then the brake lines I can also do from underneath. So this thing is coming along. I am very excited to drive it, to try to wheel it, stuff like that. Actually, I think I have 2 weeks still. Yeah, I've got 2 weeks. So that makes me feel a little bit better, but still, it's gonna be